to another lab where we love to talk about business, branding, content creation, storytelling, and all the good stuff. But we also like to just kick back, relax, and think of what's on our minds. Today, we have myself, Angel, and Baron on the show.
I'm in the building.
I'm
back. I was off for like 2 weeks.
I feel like people need to catch up. I mean, I know the episodes don't get released in that specific order, but let's just give them a little recap. You've been busy. I've been busy. The studio's been busy. We've been doing a lot of really cool stuff. So, let's catch people up on what you've been up to.
I don't like to speak out of turn. So just know that I'm behind the scenes building new stuff for 2024. So like
he's working hard.
Yeah, when I'm in building mode, I kind of disappear a little bit off social media when I'm really in grind mode. I haven't been as active on my Baron McQueen page because I've been really trying to focus more on Save the Creative stuff. So I've been really getting into a lot more photography stuff that I really didn't do because I'm just like, I'm at a point in my career I don't need to do these things. But because I'm building something new, I gotta like put the pinky toe back in that water and just remind everybody of what I used to do. And they still doing the same thing, but because I'm building something new, I kind of got to go back to the roots. So
that's important.
Yeah.
Being able to go back to basics, being able to return to what are the initial building blocks. That's why a lot of people talk about build a really good, strong foundation as a business owner, because from that foundation, you can pivot. You can try new things, take new risks, things like that. Close the computer on those things. But the idea is that with a strong foundation, you'll always be able to go return back to your basics and keep it going, keep it moving.
Is this not tapped in to something?
You could undo it.
Oh, my man.
Yeah, he messed up our whole system. But in addition to having that core foundation, I want to talk to you a little bit about like feedback and that role. Like what role does feedback play in you going back to your basics? Are there some things that maybe people give you feedback on and you were like, okay, let me implement them now that I'm going through this new journey? I think it's more about that, like where people I feel will get the most value, because I know that when you're in building mode and you're in ideation mode, it's like hard to share what you're doing.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of like trying things out, you're beta testing things out. But there is something that you're falling back to, remembering, so that this time it's a little bit better.
I have this addiction to starting new stuff. I'm the shiny new toy guy, right? I get a shiny new toy and I'm on that because it's some kind of pleasure that I get in seeing something start from an idea to like some fruition. Like, oh, now this is something maybe tangible or physical that I could touch. So I love that process. But it's difficult for me to get the feedback loop because it's not many people in my circle that are in my space. So meeting people like yourself, now I have the opportunity to actually get some feedback. But before, I couldn't get no feedback. People ain't know what I was doing, didn't believe in what I was doing, don't care about what I was doing, or they got their own problems that they like, yeah, Baron, you so smart, you'll figure it out. You don't need my opinion type thing. It's new to me to get feedback, honestly.
And I think also like on the flip side, sometimes you're getting feedback from people that are looking up to you, maybe.
Got that yes man vibe to it. Right?
Yeah, and then a lot of people will be like, oh, wow, that was amazing, and you did great. And, as much as I value that kind of positive general type of feedback, because it's kind of like a high five moment for me, I share that with you. Like, it's hard, man, to surround yourself with people that will be brave enough or have enough courage to give you feedback and not make it like intimidating for them, right? We forget that we went through all these challenges and it built us up in a certain way, and we put away some demons, right? Some things that we had to kind of like confront.
Yeah.
And then people see us and they're like, oh my God, like they're intimidated by that.
Yeah.
But we don't see that because we're just kind of like, we're still ourselves.
I didn't never think I was intimidating in business, right? Until I get into some spaces and I see people freeze, or I see like, shout out to, where's my camera at? Shout out to my guy, Ricky. I've known Ricky for about 20 years. speak to Ricky maybe 3 times a week. Ricky came all the way to Florida to film an episode for his Ricky on the Road podcast, and he froze as the host. So I'm explaining to him, I'm like,
we love you, Ricky.
I'm like, Ricky, it's me.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's different because now he's in a different space. This is not, me just calling B on the phone and just picking his brain. This is like, now I'm hosting B, and I'm like, almost like, okay, I'm honored to have him here, that I'm kind of froze. Because even though this is my man's, I'm doing something new.
Yeah.
And it was just like, he's like, yeah, this is a little intimidating. It took us like 15 minutes to start. I ended up doing his intro because he couldn't even get the intro together. So it's just like, it's tough. I don't feel like I'm intimidating. I feel like I make people feel comfortable, but I don't know what their feeling is. It could not even be me. It could just be cameras that make them freeze, right?
True. Yeah.
And then one of my best friends, Eddie Lucas, he's a property manager, bro. And I always tell him, I'm so glad I would never have to work for somebody like you. He's the hardest person to interview. Like, he tells me the stories when he interviews people, like, to hire them. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I would piss my pants try to interview with him because he's so tough in that space that it's just like, nah, man, I know I ain't get the job. I tanked that interview dealing with him because he didn't ask questions I thought was going to be in the interview. Like, you kind of prep what they going to ask me, and he just goes left. He's like, I don't care what's on the paper, what you going to tell me, what school you went to. Tell me a little bit about yourself. And the person, it was like, they probably prepped for like some background.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I don't want to know nothing about work. So do you fish? You know what I mean? What's your favorite type? Like, it's so weird. His interview style is so crazy, but it's like he stumps these people, and it's like, yo, these people came in really highly recommended and a great candidate, and everything looks amazing on paper, and then they interview with him. It's like a novice walked in.
Yeah, man. Soft skills are not something like that people work on, right? Yeah. We have had the privilege of being in sales, entrepreneurs. You have to be good at communicating your message, right? You have to be good at the top of the dome and be able to just like kind of come and put pieces together and then do a pitch. That doesn't work. Listen to the objections and kind of go back. So you're kind of like, for feedback loop, you've probably been your own feedback loop for a long time.
100%.
Right? You've always like
100%.
done things and then you sit back, reflect on it, and it's like just you talking to yourself kind of deal.
When somebody brings up an old Beat to the Dot music video, you talk about a feedback loop. I'm just like, oh my God, what was this guy thinking? Like, I don't even recognize that guy anymore.
Yeah.
Because I've done so much personal growth that I'm so far removed from him that I can't stand when somebody brings him up. Like,
it's like you've reflected so back in that moment where you were and the moves you were making, and you're just like, man, I've grown so much.
I've grown so much, bro. Like, and it was just like, I never regret those moments because I tell people music has allowed me to see a lot of the world. Had I not done music, I probably would have never really left Delaware. But music opened my eyes that, man, this is a really big world out here. There's only 2 states I haven't been to out of all 50.
Wow.
And, I've been to Europe and been overseas. So it's like, yo, I'm forever grateful for what it did. It's just that lifestyle and that person that I was, I don't recognize them.
Yeah. I mean, for me, just kind of going full circle around feedback, I feel like feedback is fundamental. If you're not getting feedback, you're not growing. Whether you're self-reflecting, whether you're seeking it from like people around you, you run into this thing. And even if you're doing it to yourself, you're running into this thing where you're giving feedback to yourself, and sometimes it's hard to absorb, especially if it's feedback that will actually cause a change in you, because it becomes a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But without it, you can't grow. Like, I wholeheartedly feel that without feedback, you cannot grow.
I agree with that.
In the most effective scenarios for me, and I'll tell you even a recent one, when you started coming to the studio and we started talking about brand awareness, what does it take? What kind of PR do you need to have? You challenged me and you said, hey, you need to write a book, right? It seems like it was just yesterday, right? But everybody takes it a little bit different, or takes feedback a little bit differently. I've developed a thicker skin, and I got to a point where I need someone that's equally as confrontational as me to be able to push me off that ledge and get me moving, right? And I remember you coming in the studio every day and you'd be like, yo, so where's your book? Yo, so where's your book? And then when you stopped asking, it was almost like an echo was going off. Every time I saw you, it was like, where's the book? Where's the book?
Yes.
Where's the book?
I said a couple of times, you get it. I don't have to. Some people don't get it, though. You got to do it like that. But you'll get it. And then it's like, it ain't but so many times I'm going to remind you till it's like, he'll get it on his own. And I just sit back and let him move at his pace. Those was just the small
like nudges
on the butt to just like, just a reminder in case you forgot.
Yeah.
That's all.
And I feel like that's so effective when you're working on teams.
Yeah.
Like that's the first thing that you should be that self-aware to say, look, I'm going to ask you to give me feedback. When you give it to me, I may be a little reluctant or I may give you a little pushback, but just keep doing it because that's what I need. Right? You have to be almost that self-aware and communicate that that's what you need to people around you. But then the hard part comes when you're dealing with family and friends, right? I feel like you start getting feedback and you don't value it as much. You're looking at it as almost like they hating, right? And you're like, yo, why? Why are you giving me this type of feedback?
It's difficult. Family is always difficult because you just love your family, right? So whether it's encouraging or is they throwing some shade, it's just like at the end of the day, it's your family, right? So I just got to a point where I just told myself, my family's not my target audience, and I'm okay with that. I don't need my family to buy from me. Once I got to that point, if my family bought a book, cool. That's not my audience, though. That's just extra support if they did it. If they didn't, cool. It is what it is. But one thing my family does do is they pick my brain way too much, and there's no action behind the suggestion. So they say, hey, man, B, like, it took them a lot to actually come and ask me, right? Because that's a pride thing. Like, so, like, man, I want to ask him, but, he's maybe either my little cousin or I'm his aunt or his uncle or it's usually older people than me coming to me for feedback, right? Or suggestions or business advice or whatever. So it's just like, okay. So they get to that point where they like, you know what? I'm putting my pride aside and I'm going to ask for the help. They ask for the help. I give them some help. And every time I see them, it's like they did no action from the last time I seen them. And it's just like, yo, you so late to the party now. What? How many times you going to see me that we got to say that same thing? Or I got to ask you, yo, so did you start?
So around that point, right? So like that sometimes devalues even the advice that you're giving because these people are seeking you out. They maybe see something in you because they think that what you're doing is something that they can't do. So you almost have like the first phase of it where it's like they'll give you feedback and it's almost because they're looking at themselves saying, I can't do that. So let me give them feedback of my internal like problems, right? That's that phase. Then there's the other phase where they get over that and they see what you're doing and they're like, I want to be that successful. Let me ask them some questions. And then you see them paralyze themselves because obviously they're in a place where they're not moving as fast as you because they're not taking those risks, right? And then all of a sudden you give them all this time, you give them all this advice, they don't do anything, and then you're off to Never Never Land. Yeah. And then they see you in Never Never Land and they go, yo, what happened? Bro, I gave you advice, dog. You haven't even done anything yet.
Not one thing.
Like, do something, anything.
Gave you 2 hours worth of a phone call worth of information. Did you even start a new email address? Like, whatever, it could be the smallest thing.
Yeah. Dude, for me, I feel like there is something that has to happen in our communities, and I feel like more people need to talk about it. It's not even down to like, hey, I'm Dominican, or hey, I'm black, hey, I'm whatever. It's not. It's a human thing at this point. But there are some communities that have it down packed. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, the Jewish community, after I did that review at Vish, Shout out to Vish, dope place. Go check it out. Check out the review on South Florida Digest. But there's this whole thing in that community that if someone in the community opens a business, and no matter if right outside, like a block away, there's the same business, the community is going to elect to go to that business that's inside the community. And if they don't get it right, they go back and they give that person feedback and they say, hey, this is what I think you should fix. And they'll come back again and try it and give you feedback. And there's this cycle of like, let's lift up our community as opposed to let's step outside of the community because of this capitalism competition. It's like, oh, someone out there is doing it better. Now let's help each other out. Like I feel like that is something that we all need to embrace as human beings, to being able to like, hey, let's uplift each other as opposed to get the hell down. Like I need to climb on top of you kind of deal.
The issue is the Jewish dollar rotates about 10 times before it leaves that community. The black dollar don't make it to the next person. Damn. It's the worst out of all the communities.
The worst of the circulation.
The worst of the circulation. You got the Jews, they keep that dollar rotating within the Jews. The Indians, they'll rotate that within the Indians. Asians, they'll rotate it within the Asians. You get to the Hispanic, not so much. But this black one is the worst one. It don't make it nowhere. You pay me today, I'm going right to the Indian. I'm going right to the Chinese. I'm going right to the Arab. I'm going right to everywhere but within my culture, right? And it's not all black people's fault. It's because everybody knows a black person that burned them, that they tried to give an opportunity to because they were black. So that one person messed it up for every cycle of the black dollar. So we already have this mentality, like when you start getting some money, you go get you a Jewish or you go get you a white attorney or you go get you this is how we've been programmed, right? Because our past experiences of dealing with our own people, right? I talk about like people that want to build communities. It all starts with like these institutions, right? You need a grocery store, you need a bank, you need a school, you need a hospital. You get those, that's the community. It's nowhere in America where any black community, any Latin community where you got all four.
All inside the same community.
All in the same community. Damn. Don't exist.
That's crazy. Look, I'm going to vow to look at things a bit different, right? I'm not going to say that I'm like altruistic and I've never done this. Yes, I've taken the dollar outside of the community, but
I just had Chinese food.
Right, we just finished having Chinese food.
I just had Chinese food today. Like, you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, we could have got this. Oh man, that's layered in there, right? But I'm gonna do my best, right? Not only from like what like businesses I engage inside of the community, but also I'm gonna try to do my best for people that have good opportunities, but they just don't have the perspective, the knowledge, or the know-how, right?
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of opportunities that come to us and those people are just not playing at our level and we're moving so fast that we just don't have time to deal with it. I feel like I'm going to slow down a bit by implementing systems, scheduling calls. If you guys want to schedule a call with me, check out my Instagram, Famous Angel. You'll have a Calendly link there. I'm all in on this because I feel like not only am I going to gain perspective, but I may potentially be helping someone that just could be that next thing. Like it could be, I could have been the person stopping from the next Steve Jobs or the next, big innovator to come and disrupt, right? Why not be an ally as opposed to being like the gatekeeper of it, right? So I'm going to vow it. I'm doing it, calling it right now on this podcast that I'm going to vow. Any one of you that want to have an idea, start it off. I'll give you my resources. I'll give you a call, 30 minutes. After that, it's on you. If I've done that much, the rest is on you. You know what I mean? That's what I'm going to vow to do.
That's tough. That is tough. Because I'm in building mode right now, and I cannot be deterred by no foolishness. And a lot of people are some talkers. I think people love to hear themselves talk. I think people love to talk to other people that they are doing more than they are doing. Right? So it's this Like, I don't like getting on, like, I don't get on calls with my friends where they get on the phone with me and they tell me everything they doing. And then they say, so what you got going on? It's like, nah, I didn't even want to ask you all of that. You just divulged this information to make it seem like you're so busy.
Yeah, like regurgitate all this kind of stuff.
And then for me, it's just like, that's why I don't like meetings.
Sit down meetings.
I don't like meetings. Because a lot of meetings be just about when we gonna schedule the next meeting. And it's like, yo.
You know what I learned about that? And this is like a warning, a disclaimer to anyone that's going to sign up for my Calendly. Be prepared. I'm going to give you homework. You do not have the ability to schedule another call until you've done that homework. Like this, I'm talking to you, Sophia. 10 out of 10. Remember, you cannot schedule a call until you finish it. Yeah. Because the thing is, like, if it goes back to the thing, if I give advice, I take my time out to give you the advice, you don't heed it, then we don't need to talk anymore.
At what point do you stop taking people's calls and text messages?
I feel like at the point where they're spiraling, bro. I've had people do this. They'll spiral out of control. And it's a tough conversation. I have to put something in their face that they didn't want to hear from me. Right? Because a lot of times people talk to you because they want you to say something that they want to hear. That's probably why they don't listen to the other advice. They only listen to the stuff that they do want to hear. So I've had experiences where I've literally told people, artists, been like, look, you're very talented. Like, I would love for your work to be seen in the public, but you're going to die and no one's going to see this. I've said that to people. Sometimes you have to be that blatantly frank and be like, call them out on the shit to be able to say, look, this is what it is. So then when you don't talk to them or when you don't text them, they understand. You haven't done any work. If you haven't done the work, you can't talk to me. Like, I'm doing work every day. Yeah. Every day we promoting brands. Every day we're doing something to build the foundation. Yeah, that's whether you see me on social media or not, we building.
Yeah, I'm like constantly my life under construction. We building.
And that's the thing. Like, if you're not building alongside us, or if you're not building at all, then like you ain't got a pass to sit at the table. It's just, it is what it is. Go try to build your own table. So with that being said, let's take a little break. Normally we do this in the beginning, but you know, we're doing it right after this first conversation on feedback. Okay. This is actually a gift to the studio.
I did drink that.
You did?
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah, because I had something to compare it to when we
did this, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like we're going to try it one more time just to see if the palate has changed or adapted to it. Okay. But this was a gift, Emerald Giant Rye Whiskey from Jason Weeman. Check out Jason Weeman on Refined Talent on IG. Development. He's actually building his coaching business and helping people out and refining his niche. Okay. But he gave us this whiskey as a present from California. It's a California whiskey. I love the branding on it. I don't know if you had a chance to give feedback on the branding on it. But for me, the quote is relevant to what we're talking about. Most people are on the world, not in it. So, you know, you can take that however you like, but we'll pour this one out. And we're going to start with this one because I feel like when we start with this one and go to the sweet, the Duke and Dame,
the sweet caramel,
the starting, the gateway whiskey is what we called it. Yes, right? That was the gateway whiskey. But yeah, man. So we'll take this opportunity to try this, and then it's just, how's it been, man? I know you've been on build mode. It's been tough. We just finished talking about feedback, but man, how you feeling? You're running a marathon right now, bro. Cheers to the marathon.
It's good.
It's a good one, right?
It's good. Yeah, I'm just, bro. I'm only here for a short amount of time. I got to get it all done as much as I can get done in this short amount of time.
Preach that.
People dying at 50, bro. That's real. Like the new norm. It's like I got so much that I want to do. I never want to be the person. I tell myself I never want to be the shoulda, woulda, coulda guy. Man, I should have did this. Man, I would have did that. I wish I could have. I don't want to be that guy. So even if I get these ideas of stuff I want to do, I always start them. Whether I finish them or I find out I ain't like it, once I get into it, I at least started it. So I'm just like, yo, I'm gonna try it and see where it leads me, and if I like it, Now once I got into it, but I started.
At least you saw what it was like.
At least I saw what it was like. I don't ever want to not try.
I saw this video of this lady that said that she waited 10 years to create YouTube content. And when she finally was able to like put aside all her like, self-esteem, putting on makeup, getting everything done, she made the video and realized she hated it. It took her 10 years to realize she hated making YouTube videos. And I feel like one thing I'll commend you for is that you always try new things fearlessly and you always put yourself in those risky scenarios, but you're testing it out. And I feel like you learn quickly if you like to do it or 100%. Not. And I've seen it already. Like there's a bunch of examples that I could give you even from Da Vinci Magazine to like a bunch of other stuff. But I feel like your willingness to try is what puts you at the same table as a lot of other entrepreneurs that are successful, right?
Yeah.
You got to be willing to try.
Yeah. I'm never going to not try, which is why you get a Da Vinci Magazine, which is why Baron Lamont, all of these. I wanted to start a printing company where I was printing on shirts. Ain't even took the heat press out the bag yet. I still want to try it though, right? So it's just like when I get these ideas, I'm just good at catchy names. That's my thing. The branding. Right? The branding is me. Like, and I'm like, man, I can't let that good name go to waste. I gotta start it, right? So it's a bunch of stuff I'm still trying to do, but I think like these. I have the time. I really don't have the time to be starting a bunch of new stuff, but I figure it out.
Yeah.
I get into it and I'm like, okay, maybe the fail fast thing.
Yes. I love that.
The fail fast thing.
You triggered that in me because I love the talk about failing fast. I found a new analogy for it, and it was with Jason. We were having a conversation, and I talked about like, I feel like when I got really good at the studio and the clients started to come and, things are just popping off left and right, it just felt like I was riding a wave, And he's like, funny you say that, like, because he's from California. He's not a surfer, but he can see it. He sees it in his son and stuff like that. And it's like some surfers will sit there and watch waves go by. And they'll wait. Or they'll jump and try and fall, right? But when you see them and they see that good wave coming, they're prepping. They already know. They've been through the trials. They failed a little bit. They're like, okay, here we go. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. The wave comes and boom, they jump on it and they're just riding it, right? So it's a lot of those failures that get you to be as prepared. So when that wave hits, you're ready to ride it, So I feel like that's a lot of the success that you have had when you try all these things and you fail all the time, right? And then all of a sudden this big wave comes. Let's put it in real terms. This client comes and says, yo, I need you to turn around these real estate photos within 24 hours. You could say, let's ride the wave.
Done deal. Yeah.
Let's ride the wave. Yeah. Talking about a new wave you're prepping for. I'm going to put it out there. ChatGPT. And that Faceless YouTube. It's fresh on your mind. I think that's a good one. ChatGPT right now creating faceless YouTube content for people. Talk to people a little bit about that experience that you're having right now.
And when he say fresh, we talking like 20 minutes ago. Fresh. It don't get no fresher than this. I don't want to say the name of it yet because I don't want people to know I'm the person behind it.
Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to do that.
But there's a faceless YouTube channel that I used to watch called Kashina. Kashina, the default picture is a blonde hair white girl. So when you hear the voice sound blonde hair white girl, right? But she's all about like different ways that nobody ever talks about to make money online, whether it's affiliate marketing, e-commerce stores, all these different little strategies that people never heard of. And I found myself consuming her content, but she never showed who Kashina was. So she built it up so big that people are going around trying to figure out if they think they know who the actual Kashina person is.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like
this mystery thing.
It's a mystery, right? So, but the content is good. So it's like, oh, okay. If people are really out here just building YouTubes, like some people don't care about the face. They just want the information.
I love
it could be the voice.
The storytelling as well. I love the storytelling. Like I find myself running across some of those YouTube channels, and it's like there was an intriguing story from Ash Street. There was a Army Ranger that moved into this street where the Crips were like all had drug points, right? And he was like, I know that this area is bad, but I'm gonna move in and I'm gonna do what I can to like help it. And it was a Faceless YouTube video that I ran across that started sharing this story, and I was like, damn, this is damn interesting. I was like, yo, babe, come here, yo, did you know about this? These Rangers and blah blah blah. And you hear the voice, and it's an AI generated type of voice, but it's telling the story, engaging. You see the graphics, you see the guy sitting there with the thing. Yo, you guys gotta look Ash Street. Look it up. I don't want to spoil the story for you, but it's definitely the content is engaging. I feel like it definitely has its niche. It has its lane. So I'm interested in seeing what your experiment is going to do. But it brings to light the fact that there's this huge rise. We talked about it in the beginning of 2023. 2023 was going to be AI year, right? But there's so many chatbots that have come up now. Everybody has one. Google has it. Bing has it, right? And the evolution of how they're getting smarter, you're being able to prompt them better. Like, how has that experience been for you utilizing AI? I know you talk a lot about it, like you fired everybody, but talk a little bit about that experience.
For me, like every time I'm on social media, I always see the post that's, oh, if you think Chat GPT is something, well, here's 1,000 other things that are even better. And it's like, could all of those other things be better? Probably. But as a branding guy that's big on the brand, there ain't a brand out that's got more clout and more visibility than Chat GPT. When you think electric car, who do you think? Tesla. So I don't care if Volkswagen, Ford, Mercedes-Benz, when you think about occupying a space and creating a new category for something, that's the disruptors, right? So Google came out with, what is it, Bard?
Yeah.
That's cool. But Chat GPT, the brand of the name, if you Google how many articles is out there talking about Chat GPT versus any other AI, it's no contest.
Or videos too.
No contest. It could be 1,000 other platforms better than Chat GPT. But then they gotta do a lot better with the marketing. You're not gonna get rid of Chat GPT. He only gonna get better and his name hold more weight.
Yep. I think a lot of people are getting into it now, and there's still a lot of people afraid or on the fence.
Yeah.
Right. I have a lot of conversations with people in business, different niches, and I always bring up the thing about ChatGPT, and it's like I see it in their face. It's like they're scared. Yeah. They're scared to use it. They're scared to talk about it. Say that they use it. They don't understand it. And when I tell them, like they're talking to me, oh, this is my idea. This is what I want to do. Blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, cool. What you just told me, I want you to type it in front of you. Like they're literally, we're on the video call. I see them type it in, and you should see their face. They're like,
yeah.
Like it can make dude. It makes business plans. The one time I told it, I want to raise the revenue in the studio. It said, okay, what is your profitable hour margin? I'm like, what are you talking about? And it's like, okay, well, how much do you bill for a client? And I gave it that. How much you pay for rent? I gave it that. And then it said, okay, this is your billable profit margin. And it said, in order for you to increase do this amount. Okay, what are the, like, bro, like it's literally a business consultant in a box. It's changing the game, bro.
I consult for a couple companies. Hope Dental Group is one of them, right? So it's a dentist that I do business consultations for. And she's like, Baron, this month is Oral Cancer Awareness Month. So I'm going to go to my office because I want you to do a blog post about, I want to educate our patients about oral cancer month. I was like, oh, that's dope, man. Yeah, send me the information. It took her 2 weeks to get back to me with the thing. And I was like, can I show you something? Give me a blog post article, 500 words. Make it SEO friendly. Make it engaging. Give me some subheadings. Give me a meta tag description, and use it in the tone of persuasive. Boom, 30 seconds. And she just looked at me. And this took her 2 weeks to write this, to get it perfect, to be able to submit it to me. And her thing was nowhere near where ChatGPT is. Mixed with Grammarly, no competition. No competition. So it's just like, you have to embrace it. Please don't be the old person with the flip phone. You're going to be the old person with the flip phone. Think about the people, right? When you first used to have to stick your debit card into a machine, how scared those people were because they was used to the old... Remember those things when they used to run your Visa? Yeah. And you had that little yellow, pink, blue slip? Mm-hmm. And you told those people, oh, just put your card in here. Those people was terrified to put their card in a machine that's going to read their card. Don't be that person that's still with your debit card. Embrace it. Figure out how it's going to help improve maybe meaningless tasks you don't like doing.
Yeah.
That's not even dollar productive. If you ain't going to hire a VA, that's a free VA for you. And try that out. And then if you don't like it, then go hire a prompter that can prompt.
Right?
So
I think that's the thing right there. What you just said, try it out. And I feel like that is what is going to take creativity to the next level.
Yeah.
Like if you just take out that creative block by having someone that can scour the internet, all this information, and give you good advice, right? Why not use it? Like just talk to it, like write things to it, see what it tells you.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the best prompter. Like, yeah, there's a lot of stuff out there. Once you start doing it, you're going to go down a rabbit hole and there's going to be a bunch of prompting things. You sign up for a newsletter, it'll give you a list of prompts, all that good stuff. But there's even cheat codes. You could ask ChatGPT to give you a prompt to write things better. It's meta. Like people, it could talk to itself. Like there's actually, when you said the interview thing, I saw a video where someone actually put the interview that they were going for. It said, ask me complicated questions. And every time I give you an answer for this question, make the next question even harder, right? So the person asked it, and then in another tab, they went and put the question. ChatGPT gave the right response. It put that response in. So it was ChatGPT talking to itself, right? But now this person had every possible angle to this interview, to the point where like if they sat down in front of someone, they would be like, they nailed it.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like the tough thing that I'm seeing that's going viral is the music business is really being affected, right? So there was a song that came out with Drake and The Weeknd, and it was an AI generated record, right? They didn't even know what to do. They didn't even know how to approach the guy that made the record.
From a contractual standpoint.
Right. This has never been done. This is going to change law. This is where you're going to have to trademark your voice now, right? But the people who are embracing, let me tell you why I like it. And this goes to all my songwriters and singers that I be asking y'all to reference records for me, and it take y'all 3 and 4 weeks to reference a song that I already wrote, already did the beat, and I just need you to sing it so I can shop the song. Well, I don't need y'all no more. How about that? I'll get Mariah Carey to do the demo. and then now we'll do it. So now think about, as a producer and a songwriter, I want to pitch a song to Lauryn Hill. How great would it be? I wrote a song, I did the beat, and it already was in Lauryn Hill's voice. And I said, hey, Lauryn, this is a song I wrote for you. This is what it would sound like in your voice. Music people gonna hate me. They gonna hate this. They gonna hate this.
I'm so glad you brought this up, because this brings to light, recently, I don't know if you've seen in the news, there's an artist that is releasing her rights of her voice for any fan to use AI.
And they said, I give you 50% of the streaming profits.
50% of the profits. It's
I'm for it.
Grimes.
I'm with it.
Grimes voice. But then the AI software that makes it, UberDuck, went one better. And they said they just announced on Tuesday that they're going to do a $10,000 contest for people to create songs using Grimes' voice. And participants would use the company's AI voice generator to produce entries. The winner takes home $7,000.
This guy is embracing the technology. It's not going nowhere. It's here. It's here.
Yeah, man. Like when you mentioned that, I was like, oh man, that's so fresh right now. There's somebody talking about it. But then that goes to, like, if what about like an upcoming artist, like an independent artist, right? They don't have a lot of like fans. They're not monetizing and all that stuff. Like, is that something you would recommend? Like, just letting them give their rights to AI so that other people can create content for them?
First of all, you have to have a voice that people even recognize. Let's be clear. Or you gonna just be like the old creator player from the old Def Jam rap game that was on PlayStation 1, right? I'm probably showing my age. Def Jam came out with a game. but that's what you'll be. You'll be the creator player, right? Nobody knows your voice. Drake has a voice that people know. And this is the power in having one of those. Think about all the new artists that come out. Like we was listening to some reggaeton earlier, right? This guy sounded just like 5 other guys, right? He was like, I think I know who that is, but maybe not. It's the same thing with hip hop. All of them start sounding the same. They all use the same auto-tune. They all use the same producers. That you don't even know who's who no more. Mm-hmm. But when you had distinct people like a Lil Wayne, you know a Wayne voice, you know a Jay-Z voice, you know a Kanye voice, you know a Jadakiss voice. These people, Busta Rhymes, like these people were so, their signature, their voice was the signature. Mm-hmm. You know a Drake song when you hear it.
Yeah.
It's a Drake. So it's like, if don't nobody already don't know you, I don't think your voice is even gonna get picked. Let's be clear, right? So for any up and coming artists, like I see a bunch of up and coming artists running around with Drake features now because of this damn AI. But it's just like, yo, use it to way like maybe you wrote a nice song, but you can't sing the best. Mm-hmm. But you wanted a female on the hook, but you couldn't find a female. Maybe AI has a nice tone of a generic female's voice that you can use to sing that hook for you. Right? So it's like, just embrace it. It's definitely going to have to be it's about to be some legislation going to have to happen around AI because you still got to protect people's voices. So it's like, oh, now at this point, now you got to trademark your sound, your voice, your signature, your ad lib, your whatever. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not just the brand.
Before we move into the next point, like what you just said right there is so important. I want to emphasize it again. If you're not going to use AI now and then later you say, oh, I'm comfortable now with it because whatever reason, maybe enough people came out with it, you may be left on the outside of the bus. Yeah. Because if legislation comes down on not only the use of AI in writing articles, or because even Miami Herald now is putting it on their article, this was AI generated, right? So when
I wonder if that's going to be a thing. Like now you have to tag your stuff
as a source, yeah. So and that's why some of the AI like Bard is giving you the sources already. Where the AI got the information from so that you can use it, right? But if you don't get in on it now, you're not going to be able to like take the fruit, right? You're going to end up like just being left behind because then legislation is going to put you outside of the space, right? So we talked about up and coming, innovative, the tip of technology using AI, right? But I want to just pivot real quick because it goes hand in hand. You're trying to create content, you're trying to generate leads, so on and so forth. I've always been an advocate of digital content, right? Because ever since we went from paperless, it helps the environment. I feel like it's a win-win all around, right? But there is a benefit to using old strategies in a new world. So email marketing, for example, like a lot of people, even if there's entrepreneurs watching, they're like, dude, what are you talking about? Email is dead, right? Email blasts are dead. Funnels are dead. Why do you do that? Go on creating social media content, right? But I feel like reviving it with the new technology could potentially put you in a good position. What experience are you having right now using email marketing?
I was one of those, man, email don't work. I send so many emails that now my email in the spam section, right? What I learned about being somebody that used to own a marketing agency, there's a strategy in copy, right? People that are copywriters specialize in how people look at certain words, how people hear certain things, how you use tone. They word specialists, copywriters. For me, I was never a copywriter. What I was I was a marketer. So when I used to reach out to companies, I used to insult them in the subject line of the email that they had to open the email, right? If I'm a marketing company and I want to get Collab Studios as a client, my subject line is going to say, damn, do you guys do any marketing? Two things are going to happen.
That's going to trigger me so badly that I'm going to have to open that email and be like, who the hell are you?
Who the hell is this guy talking about, do I do any marketing? I have a whole marketing company that I hired. Of course I did marketing. But you're intrigued to open that email.
Like clickbait.
It's clickbait.
Yeah.
I've understood clickbait for a really long time. So in email marketing, that's what I used to do. I'm a marketer.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to piss nobody off, but it's like, yo, how can I shift through the other spam? Why does mine stand out? I always put emojis in my subject.
Oh, that's sauce. A lot of people don't know.
I put emojis in my subject line. This is just stuff from a marketing perspective. Nobody gonna give you this game.
Yeah.
Use emojis. Use all capital letters in your subject. Do something to stand out from. I get 175 emails a day. Different pitches. I tell these people that pitch me, if your thing say potential guest, it's not getting open.
Yeah.
Interview with a question mark, it's not getting open. Engage me let me know what I'm about to open before I open it. Or give me some interest to be like, oh, I might want to open that. Like a girl pitched me, she was like, hey, I want to get my son on your podcast. He's a children's book author, but he's only 4. 4-year-old? Let me click this and that got me.
Yeah.
Right? It got to have some kind of shock factor, some kind of shock value for me to open the email nowadays. Because if not, if you're just giving me the basic, hey, I have a client and I wanted to pitch him to you and he's wrote a book and you ghosted.
Yeah. I feel like because a lot of people, and I'm to blame, you were one of the ones that got me back into checking my email, is people get traumatized because there's just so much spam.
Yeah.
There's people trying to steal your money from Nigeria. There's even people impersonating Facebook, telling you your Facebook got shut down to get you to click on it, and then all of a sudden it's a virus. I've literally told my dad, don't open an email. Before you even open it, just point at the screen and tell me which email it is so that you don't get hacked, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a lot of like that negativity, but you would say from your experience that email marketing is not dead. It's still an effective way, right? But okay, so you outlined a lot of pros. What are some of the cons of email marketing? Like what are some of the downsides of it?
The downsides of it is people like you that don't check their email because they're turned off, right? That's a con. So he's going to affect my click rate because he ain't gonna open nobody's email, right? Unless it's like something he was expecting. Somebody called and say, hey, check your email, right? Other than that, he not checking it. That's a con, right? All the other stuff you just named is a con.
Yeah.
The fake Facebook stuff, the, hey, you man, why haven't you signed up for Twitter Blue? All of this stuff. I mean, it's so bad. The giveaways. The gift cards. Take this free. We giving away $50 in Bitcoin just for signing up. All of these emails. Bro, I'd spend at least 2 hours a week unsubscribing from stuff I never signed up for.
So using AI to help you unsubscribe.
100%.
There's a lot of apps out there, and even your own email program will ask you to 100%. Unsubscribe. So using that. But you would say definitely get back to email because we have this saying, right? There's probably $10,000 worth of clients in the email.
Could be.
Right? It's just being able to check it.
It could be. And if you ain't gonna do it, pay somebody to go through your emails.
That's true.
And weed out all the good ones. Like, hey, this might be potential, this might not be. If you don't want to do it. But I wouldn't say it's dead. My open rate of percentage lets me know it's not dead.
What's your open rate? Tell them.
17%.
Anybody that knows anything knows that that's a good open rate.
I was shocked.
Yeah.
Now, I did it wrong, but I learned.
What'd you do wrong? So they learned.
I went right for the sale. So I had a whole list of emails of that I just been collecting over the years. And I was like, I need to get them in this system, get them in my little funnel, and I need to start really doing targeted email marketing. I ruined it by going for the sale first. So I got a bunch of unsubscribes from the first email, right? And I'm like, oh, you know what? My number one rule I always say is lead with value, and I didn't do it. So I went back, and I hit them the next week with some value. All right, unsubscribe number was a little less. Another week, a little more value. Okay, only 2 unsubscribers. Okay. And the click rates is going up. So it's like, give them something that why they should be tuned in, right? Here I am emailing people that I don't know how long ago they gave me this email, and I'm kind of reintroducing myself to them because I'm just assuming if I put it out on social media, everybody that know me seen it.
Yeah.
Which is so far from the truth that I'm literally going back and sending old podcast episodes that we spent great time on creating great content that some people still have not seen. So if I got an email list of people who they might not be on social media. They might not be on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, none of that. But they on email. So get your email game up. It's not going to hurt.
It's not going to hurt. And that's a lot of game and sauce you're putting out there. Get your email game up. They may not be on email. They may also be on LinkedIn. So, get your LinkedIn up, right? Because there's so many. And I know that it may be overwhelming, but just take it one step at a time and start to build that momentum. There's so much to be said about building momentum. And I feel like you can't build momentum staying still.
Yeah.
You have to be able to continuously move and try different things. And that's a perfect example that you just outlined with the email, that you went and tried something to try to build that momentum. You immediately were encountered with like, something's wrong.
Yes.
Let's try again. And then when you tried again, you built the momentum enough where me, who doesn't check emails, started seeing some of your emails. So it's like, it's working, right? So that's the idea, is just continue pushing through and get to the point where you get that momentum built in. I feel like you, before we go and wrap this joint up, I want you to try that Duke and Dame.
Oh, you switched it up.
One more time. I went back to my good oldie because I'm a whiskey drinker, but I wanted you to try that after you tried this one and see what you thought.
Oh, you want me to try it alone?
Oh, shit. Oh, we could drink it. You want me to finish this?
Yeah.
And then you try it? So, okay, I'll finish it right now.
Yeah.
A little ASMR whiskey drinking for you.
Yeah, he jumping the gun here.
It was my fault. Rookie mistake.
So now he got to drink extra.
It's going to, yeah. It's going to taste so, I already know what happens when you do both of these.
But I mean, would you use email marketing?
After hearing you explain it and after seeing your real life examples of it, yes. Okay. Am I currently using it? No.
Right.
Do I currently have a way of getting lead captures? Yes, 100%. I have a full list, but I have not taken the time to add value to that first.
Got it.
So I feel like after this, I will put that on my to-dos with the catch-up of getting my personal website up to date. All my other socials, if you guys are watching, my IG, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, all of it is up to date. It has the new vision, and I feel like it's as clear as I've gotten it to this point. I'm going to try to get clearer with my message, and hopefully you guys watching will understand what I can add value in. And that was the feedback I got recently on one of my calls. Angel, I've been following you for years. I just didn't know which one. Like, you do so much. I didn't know which one to go at with.
The message is clear.
The message is clear.
And this is what I tell people. The most important website is the personal website, right? If your name is Frank Thomas, you should own frankthomas.com, right? Because then what you do is you allow the person to go to your website as home. This is the hub. And then they can pick which social media they like to consume. So if they go to BaronMcQueen.com and you're a YouTuber, well, click the YouTube button. You're a TikToker, click the TikTok button. But you got to give people the hub and then let them pick where they want to consume your content. Yeah. But then again, you still got to be on everything too. So
you got to try to push it every day, man. Yeah. It's hard. It's not easy. Take the Duke of Dame. I want you to see what you think of that one. Cheers. Oh, man. Still,
you can smell it before you. It smells good.
Look, I like whiskey. This is why Duke and Dame talks about on their website that they've made this whiskey to make it a different type of experience for people. Their target was to create a different experience for whiskey drinkers. I feel like their target should be new whiskey drinkers.
Correct.
Very similar to like you have wines that level you up into the more like seasoned wines.
100%.
But you can still appreciate it. It wouldn't be like, hey, let's sit down and drink this whole bottle for me and you. No. Because I just feel like the sweetness is like too much. I need something to cut it.
Got it.
I tried mixing these. Don't do that.
You can look at the color and tell.
Don't go well. But I'm a fan of like the oaky, like kind of like
taste the barrel.
A little barrel.
You like to taste the barrel. All right, I got you.
All right, so this is our free-for-all section. I know we hit right on the... We're hitting right now, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not looking at the screen, but we should be around a 40-minute mark. But this is our freestyle section. We can come to a close. What else do you feel? We talked about a lot of stuff today. We talked about feedback and its importance and for you to grow. We talked about ChatGPT and utilizing it and even creating Faceless YouTube content. We even talked about how email marketing is not dead and that you should still try to use it. What do you want to leave people off with? What's one of the things that's burning on your mind that you feel like people should walk away with?
I'm not gonna go into like politics.
No, you don't have to.
I'm not gonna go into
One
politics.
time we talked about digital real estate, and we never got a chance for
digital.
I'm gonna drop that for you. That's a gift.
I encourage people to get into digital real estate. Digital real estate is like, it's just like regular real estate, right? You own something that you can sell later or you can keep and make money off of now, like it's a renter. So what I would do, I would buy URLs with catchy names and then I would make a landing page. But I always, when I made the landing page, whatever the keyword name was, so that I always showed up top of rank, right? So if I'm in the plumbing industry, my URL would be miamiplumber.com, right? It'll be just a landing page with a phone number and a form and maybe some plumbing stock images. And I would take that digital real estate, generate those leads from people just because I'm showing up top rank and sell those leads to the real plumbing company. It's just what wholesalers do for real estate. They ain't got the money to buy it. They got an assignment contract. They got you on contract and they sell it to the person who could really come in and flip it. Same concept. It's just from a digital standpoint. It's less barrier to entry. You can probably get into it for less than $150.
I would say even less than that.
Probably less than that, right?
It's like $1.
I'm just thinking about you get the website, let's say between $1 and $3, and then you gotta get a landing page up, right? Get your URL, get your landing page up.
There's AI that'll do it.
Get your phone number going, and you in there. Digital real estate.
I love it. I feel like I wanted you to talk to us a little bit about that because I saw an episode that you were like, digital real estate, that's gonna be on the next one. We gotta talk about that.
Yes.
I know friends that literally just buy websites, domains.
Flip them.
They put them in auction. And then it's like a flip, but it's not, you didn't build the site.
Yeah.
What you're talking about is a little bit more elevated because your margins go up. You're investing in the landing page. And maybe you don't have to filter the calls yourself. Maybe you hire someone on Fiverr to answer the calls, or you use AI to answer.
So that's
calls.
why I tell people, if you're going to get in digital real estate, your very first website should be an industry you're familiar with. So my first digital real estate website was a window company. I bought hurricaneimpactwindows.com. Right?
Fuck.
So it's just like, oh, okay, this is just capturing leads. So what do? Oh, I got a friend that owns a Hurricane window company. I sell him the leads. He don't want them. I call another window company. Hey, I got leads. Can you handle more leads? Because these leads is $50 a pop. 10 leads a day, $50 a pop.
$1,000 days easy.
$1,000 days is what we working towards.
We're gonna have to make a club and a T-shirt for this.
$1,000 days.
I love it. For me, I feel like you've allowed me to see the thing that I'm most passionate about, and that's storytelling and podcasting. You say it all the time, like I'm an advocate of it. I truly like bleed storytelling. I love it. Not only do I consume a lot of storytelling, but I love hearing someone's idea and helping them refine that story. And I've had some recent success with that, not only at the studio, Code Out Lab Studios Miami, but also in like my personal account. Like I've set up that Calendly, and I've had a lot of calls this past week just about that, like how to get people to get out of their own head and be able to tell their story clear and concise, so that way their audience can go ahead and tap into that. So I want to leave everybody with that message. If you feel like you don't have the resources, you don't have the money, you don't have the knowledge, just take the first step. Start to tell your story wherever you're at. A lot of people say hide your plans or whatever from the public because of some voodoo thing that will happen. Like if you put too much out there, it may not happen or whatever. Yeah. But I'm going to sit here and say, refraining from cursing, fuck that shit, bro. Like, seriously, fuck that shit. Like, I get it. I get that, not sharing everything or while you're building or whatever. But if you're in a position where you still don't have a good momentum, you still don't have a good structure or any example to fall back on, bro, put it out there.
Yeah.
You never know who's going to be able to say, oh, wow, that's a cool idea. Let me go tap into that. You never know who's going to say, yo, I like what you're doing. I know so-and-so like Baron. You guys should meet or whatever. You never know. So put it out there. Just tell your story, your struggles, whatever you're going through, because I feel like marketing is adapting instead of that targeted, directed copy, like, hey, that clickbaity stuff. People are now starting to tap into genuine, authentic stories. And if they can see themselves in you, no matter at what place you're at, they're going to want to either follow or listen to you, one or the other. So tell your story. 2023, tell your story. Fuck it. That's what it is. That's my message.
I'm with it.
You're with it? So that has been The Lab. Thank you for tuning in this week. Hopefully you got a lot of value out of it. We led with a little value, right? I feel like we did. Stay tuned for a lot more conversations. What do you feel like you take it out? Anything you want to talk about next time? You're working on it? Plug yourself. Do something.
Nah, I mean, I think the whole storytelling aspect is important, right? I think the thing people struggle with is just telling the story, right? Everybody's story is unique. No two people's stories is the same. No two people's journeys is the same. But there's still relatability in people's story. That's like, oh, you know what? I bang with that because it's not exactly mine, but it's a piece of that's similar to my story, and he was brave enough to share that, right? So, I'm with the storytelling, man. I like that.
If you ain't gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. Check out Baron McQueen on Instagram. Definitely check him out. He has a lot of stuff he can share with you. Not only that, but you have an ebook. I encourage you to go buy the ebook. I'm going to do so much that I'm going to put the link in the description of this video for y'all to jump on that ebook. Only $9.99.
That's it.
And they get to figure out how they can do their own PR campaign for free.
Exactly.
They don't have to pay $30K to get the blue check. You know what? Actually, I'm going to drop a gem. If you're sticking around to the end of this episode, you're this far out. First and foremost, thank you for sticking with us this long into the hour. And here's a gem for you. In the next show, we're going to talk about blue check. Yes, I bought the blue check. Baron did it, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the benefits. We're going to talk about all that stuff. There's a lot of people not sharing that they bought it, but it's okay.
And we know y'all bought it.
We know you bought it, dog,
So,
but
like,
it's all good. We're going to talk about it next time. I feel like that's a good way for us to end it.
It's funny because...
I triggered you, didn't I?
No, you triggered me because we was talking about storytelling. We was talking about get the book, right? But I wanted to tell people the name of the book.
What is it?
The name of the book is The Self-Made Storyteller. It's, I mean,
I love it.
Get the book.
Get the book, bro.
Look at me. I know you don't got the $3K to pay me. Spend the $9.99 and get the book and just put the work in. Save yourself $3K, and I'm telling you that. Save yourself the $3K.
Get the book. Peace.